Hello everyone, today's video discussion is all about reasons why I DNF books, and I have a notebook full of my notes of why I DNF books, so I'm going to use it because I didn't realize I have so many reasons why I DNF books. So the first reason why I DNF books is flowery language. The definition is a very elaborate, ornate, and often poetic slash literary way of speaking or writing. It's the opposite of plain language. I actually prefer plain language. If a speech or writing style is flowery, it uses too many complicated words or phrases in an attempt to sound skillful. Example, from Nevernight. I finished it, but I totally skimmed through it because it was atrocious. No regrets. I gave it 1 star. Here's an example from Nevernight. Quote, I turned these pieces of former tree, the midnight ink, recounting a narrative, tumified by metaphoric wanderings. It pained, O readers, it pained. Persevere, I thought. Quitting now would be a mark of failure, like a baby bird that flutters its wings for the very first time, stretching them out with the promise, the hope of flight, only to return defeated for its nest. What did I just read? There is no point in that. I don't understand what that was, but was it? Well, I don't read that stuff. I will put it down. I really only finished Nevernight because I wanted to say that I finished it, so when someone said, oh, you should have finished it, you don't have an opinion. I do have an opinion. It's horrible. I finished it purely because I could say, I read the whole thing, it's atrocious. You can't say that I didn't try. Number 2 is purple prose. Definition, prose that's too elaborate or ornate. Example, Nevernight. Again, the 3 suns hanging on a chain about his throat tried to gleam, but the clouds and the crying sun told them no. What was that? Okay. I will DNF a book if that's what the whole book is about. Ugh. Number 3, tropes that are bad cliches. Now you have tropes like, you know, the bad boy falls in love with the good girl. That can work, that's a trope, but if you don't write that well, it will become a cliche. The tropes that are poorly written that then turn into cliches are the following for me. Brooding bad boy that's actually a hero. So many times. Rich man, poor woman, marry and live happily ever after in a historical fiction book. Sorry, that's not how it goes. A prince or a king is not going to marry a commoner. I've seen it too many times. It's a sweet story, but it's gotten a little too old at this point for me. Love triangles that are the main plot and the story is lost to the love triangle. Clumsy, unfit girl that can somehow fight extremely well. Possessive spouse or love interest, no. The girl that doesn't know she's pretty but everyone else does and that's somehow a plot? Hello, Twilight? Though I didn't DNF Twilight. I was obsessed with it because I was a teenager. Number 4 is I don't really need to elaborate, I don't think, is abuse portrayed as love. Hi, 50 Shades of Grey. I DNF'd you. Your portrayal of BDSM is wrong and atrocious. It is abuse, not love. Number 5, prologues. People have actually tried to fight me on Twitter about prologues, and I still stand behind them. I'm just going to say, I used to write and love prologues. So before anyone wants to leave a comment or tweet me again, just saying, I used to write them and love them. So this is why agents, publishers, book reviews, and readers usually don't like prologues, and why I don't as well. You add one in to fill the reader on a backstory, so the real story can begin in chapter 1. The prologue can just be chapter 1. I'm not sure how someone misses this, but a lot do. The prologue has a different tone than the rest of the novel, and that just gets confusing to me. The prologue is all action and no plot. The prologue is meant to scare you, and this is a horror, maybe fantasy, paranormal. You want to show action to pull the reader in. You can do that in a chapter 1. You create a prologue to introduce an evil character. You can just do that in chapter 1 and the other chapters. You just think prologues are cool, so you end up writing one into your story. They aren't cool. Personal opinion. You show a POV of secondary characters in your prologue. They're secondary characters for a reason. They don't need a prologue. They don't even need their own chapter. And finally, the writer sees it as an excuse, unconsciously or consciously, to drop an action, key conflicts, or a world-defining event that changes everything, and then chapter 1 starts. I don't like prologues. I used to write prologues, as I said. I did it because I thought that is what you were supposed to do, and you're not supposed to do that. You can say, oh, well, you know, there's plenty of books that have prologues. That is true. A lot of them are a little older, and then you have prologues that work because a lot of them I've noticed are in fantasy, and you can do that in fantasy novels, especially adult fantasy novels. But from the research that I've done on prologues, because people love hating on my my stance, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of blogs, articles, interviews of agents talking about prologues. The majority of agents, I'm not saying all of them, but the majority of agents, if they find a prologue instead of a chapter 1, they will stop reading and they will not pick you up. So change your story to chapter 1 and you actually have a better chance. I'm not saying you're going to be picked up, but I'm saying you have a better chance because most agents, when they see prologue instead of chapter 1 in their query, they will turn you down. Number 6 is flat characters. They don't change at all throughout the book, and it's really awkward when a flat character is the main character. And that is why I will DNF, because a flat character is the main character or the love interest, which is kind of like, in my opinion, a main character. I like Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet is a flat character. However, he does play an important role for Romeo. So he does have a point being in that play. Whereas if you just have a flat character that's going around, especially a main character, and does not develop whatsoever at the end of the book or the whole series, why? Because everyone changes, even just a little bit. If you don't change at all, why should I be interested or invested in the story plot or the character? That's my question. Why should I keep reading? Why should I be invested in your book or anything to do with your book whatsoever? Most of the issues with books that I have read is just bad writing and not making up for it with the plot and characters. For example, Sarah J. Maas's writing is not that great, and I've admitted it in all of my book reviews of her novels, though I rather read plain writing over flowery or purple prose. I can say I stay with Sarah because she's great at character and plot story development. She doesn't have flat characters. She doesn't have really cliche characters even, though I'm sure some people will disagree with that. There are some storylines that might be predictable, but I don't see how nowadays you can really have an unpredictable plot. That's going to be a bit rare, especially in young adults. Sorry, not sorry, I'm saying that, because young adults, or just not even young adults, because a lot of 20-somethings are reading young adult like me. We like what we like, and we do like a lot of tropes. We just don't want them to become cliches. That's what I've noticed. That was my 6 reasons why I DNF books. If you like what you just saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to get to know me and any of my writing, all of that is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great reading day. Bye!